Yeah, I just have to hit start streaming. So, oh, all right. Well, I'm hitting mine then too. Yeah, I mean, Dynamite this week, I felt like was I don't know what it was. Maybe it was all the emotion and everything, but I actually teared up a good dozen times during that. Well, yeah, especially when you had, I mean, I like the way they did it with every member of the Dark Order getting a pin. Well, not every member, but the 5 matches all had Dark Order in them, and everyone got a pin, and it was always at the expense of the biggest dick on the other side. And it was nice, seeing a guy like Eddie Kingston, who is probably the biggest dick in AEW, come out and say some nice words about um, as far as total dickish heel because I can't stand him. Where MJF I respect, but Eddie I can't stand. Period. No, but I will say MJF got his comeuppance too, and he was over the top when he started going after -1. Um, but even still, even when people like Eddie and MJF went after the Dark Order and were their biggest dicks, it felt like it was done in respect. It didn't feel like they were just being dicks to be dicks. Remember, we watched that Evolve show and we heard Austin Theory, and we both kind of jumped on him and about bringing in personal lives and everything. MJF and Eddie, even though they were major dicks throughout this, it didn't feel like they were going crossing lines like Austin Theory did. So what are they doing? What are they going to do with the TNT Championship now? Is it just dead? Okay, because I didn't really. Yeah, they gave him the original one, the one that, wasn't completed, the one that Cody first wore, and the one that Brodie. Oh, yeah, they gave him the one that, his dad used. They gave him the one that Brodie Lee, when he was a champion, used. Um, I don't know, like I said, I felt like it was well done. I enjoyed the entire night. And you have to be made of steel if Eddie Kingston's little memory didn't get to you. You know, and Moxley to kick it off. And they were all, but I mean, just I think the one that got me the most was Eddie's, because Eddie just put everything aside. Even it was nothing about wrestling; it was all about him being a father. And that's I felt like that was, and the way he, told Brody, Brody Jr. and all that stuff, that how much his dad loved him and all that. It brought tears to my eyes. Right, right, exactly. And how about Lance Archer coming out wearing dressed like Luke Harper? I thought that was impressive too, and I still can't wrap my head around Archer being a face because it just kind of came out of nowhere. So and it just doesn't make sense to me. He's one of those guys that it never should have turned face. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was. I'm not a fan of the Eric Redbeard moniker, but but it almost seems like he should be a like a Viking or something like that with that name. No, I thought wasn't he part of that release back in October, when they released like fucking half the roster, or April? Yeah, he was part of that April massacre, basically, where they released half their roster, released like 15, 16 people. Yeah, it'd be nice. That'd be nice. You know, I another question that I thought is how does the Dark Order come back from this? I mean, are they going to be heels? Are they going to be faces? Does Eric Rowan step in as their new leader? And like right now, I can't imagine them being heels anymore. Right. Their structure and their setup, yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, they've become slowly becoming faces over the last few years or last couple of months because of BTE. I mean, Jonathan Silver is one of the most over people on the roster right now. Oh, but he's been a character face. He has been. I just the way that he's been, I've felt like he's been a face for a while since he started getting over on BTE. Right. Kind of like Chaos when there were bad guys in a face organization. Right. Yeah, the whole Exalted One thing kind of flipped that on its heels, but um, right. And they, if they add Hangman Page though, they're instantly fan favorites, unless he turns on just some dastardly horrible thing. But I can't see him being. He's another guy that I just can't see being a heel ever, and take over the mantle. Right. Yeah. I mean, there is that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm for the first time in a long time. I'm excited to see where the Dark Order goes. Well, they were. I mean, they absolutely were. There was no doubt about that. That was just their way of building it up before giving it to Brody Jr. Moxley. Yeah, and even though he lost, he looked good. Right. Yeah, I mean, it felt like it was normal WWE booking with the stop start and all that crap. But I don't know. I'm glad that he got his run. I wish, like you said, we'd gotten a longer run out of him, but we got what we got. We should appreciate what we got. And I just felt like the whole night on Dynamite this week was just phenomenal. Just so well done. Right. And I'm just blown away with how loved Brodie Lee was. Like, no, I was just saying it blows me away at how loved Brodie Lee was by everybody. Like, and I told you that last week when we were talking about it. As soon as he passed away, my Twitter just exploded with these great stories about him, and I've never seen that before with anybody. Like anybody that passes away, wrestling world or not. Like even when Kobe Bryant, I mean, Kobe Bryant was beloved by, fans and teammates and everything, but nothing like this. I've never seen an outpouring of just love for a guy like we saw with Brody Lee. It's everybody. Everybody had something good to say about him. People you didn't even know that had ever crossed his path were telling stories of how great of a locker room guy he was and how much of a family man he was and how much he helped them in their career and just everything and everybody that I'm still seeing little tributes paid to him on Twitter, and it's just I don't think I've ever seen that kind of support before, ever. Well, yeah, and I started thinking that same thing about I think it was Jericho was talking about how he wrestled against him. There was one other guy that Moxley is the one that talked about it, about how they had, they've been facing off against each other for 14 some years. Well, they were only in the WWE together for 8. So obviously some of that happened beforehand. Uh, yeah, the 2014 one is the one that comes to mind. Their one from Elimination Chamber. Yeah, when they were both teams were standing on the outside of the ring staring at each other, and everybody's chanting. And another one too that kind of like Britt Baker, her being her whole heel character, but still being able to bring in the big rig tribute. It just I don't know. I can't say anything negative about this show, and it's been a long time since I've been able to say that. The match quality was good. Right. Right. Well, I think the reason they were able to do that is because it's, being booked in Jacksonville, so and next week's show is too. So I think it'd be a little bit different if they had sold the card for an outside arena. I don't know if they would have been able to pull that off. So I think, part of the reason why they were able to do it is just because of the times, because, of the times that we're in right now where they're not out on the road. They're stuck in one arena, so it doesn't really matter what the show is this week, because they can change it next week. Well, it was, I think it was his fifth loss, but it's the only the third time he's ever been pinned. Yeah, because I know he lost that. No, he's been pinned twice in singles matches. Oh no, actually, you're right. He hasn't. I for some reason was thinking Cody, but he didn't lose to Cody. He won. So I think maybe you're right. Maybe it is the third loss and second time he's ever been pinned. Six man. Well, he was also in that six man match on Fight for the Fallen, the first year in the company, when he teamed with Guevara and Kip Sabian, but he didn't lose that match either. Or was it Guevara and Sabian? Uh, no, they lost, and he blamed. It was somebody that. Oh, Sean Spears. It was Sean Spears because it was right after Spears hit Cody with the chair. I don't know. I thought they lost it. I thought that was one of his losses. I could be wrong though, because I'm trying to think who at the time would have eaten the pin. Would have had to have been Sammy. Yeah, it was Janela, Darby Allen, and somebody else. And that right. Man, I can't remember who the third guy was. That's depressing. Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, at the time, it was probably six of their hottest young talent. And we can remember five. We just can't remember that fourth one. Jimmy Havoc, maybe? Because yeah, because Jimmy Havoc was the one that was in that triple threat. Right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was Jimmy Havoc. Well, you're right. It's somebody not with the company anymore. But so yeah, well done, AEW. Proud of what you were able to put out. I'm happy that for once, for in a very long time, I have absolutely nothing negative to say about the show, and it's not because of what the show represented. If they had bad matches, I would have said so. If they had bad segments, I'd say so. But ultimately, every match I felt like was done perfectly. They may not have all been 5-star matches. I don't think any of them were, but they were all done really, really well. And I haven't been able to say that about an AEW show in a long time. Okay, I take that back. One negative. I still don't get the snow. It makes no sense. Like I said, in 30 years, I've never associated Sting with snow. Yeah. No, unfortunately, they're not. It's just a part of who he is now. But I think if he's gonna be, you know, having snow as an entrance, he needs to kick the crow gimmick. Just, not go back to that Joker gimmick that he had in TNA for a while. I wouldn't mind him going back to his main event Mafia gimmick, where he came out in a suit and wearing sunglasses with no face paint and matching Darby. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was well done. Other than snow, I can't complain. Right. Tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Two shows on Wednesday? Oh, NXT is having a good show too. Oh, right. Okay, I need to know what's going on there because I have, like I said, have not been caught up. Last thing I watched with NXT was War Games. Haven't seen or heard anything about it since. Is UE still faces? What's going on there? That was the NXT match of the year over that DIY Mustache Mountain match. I guess I didn't watch it, so I can't. I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list of stuff to do. Have Jacob get it for you. Yeah. Didn't yeah, O'Reilly broke his jaw in the last match, didn't he? Wow. Okay. Well, considering how far Punishment Martinez slash Damian Priest has come over the last year, I mean, I started seeing him improve a lot when he was in Ring of Honor. And then, I felt like they had a misstep when they debuted him as Punishment Martinez. Maybe that was just some way to kill the character. But I feel like he's nailed everything he's done as Damian Priest. Well, yeah, he's been going up against the Heart of Evil, Johnny Gargano. So- No, oh, yeah, that I knew. I didn't know if he had a new one because he's a heel. Right. Yeah. Ugh. I'm glad Austin Theory's in NXT. I think he can shine there. I felt like he, like a lot of people, once they get called up to the main roster, really flounder. I if we go all the way back to 2014, how many NXT call-ups have actually become something on WWE proper? And I'm not talking the women because every one of them have, but um, as far as the men go, maybe a handful. Yeah, Sam, but Sammy took a long time and a heel turn to do it. But after he broke his separated, yeah, after that, I mean, they just gave up on him. I think right now you'd have to say McIntyre and Keith Lee, but I mean, and then Kevin Owens. If I go with the ones that from day one were a star and they continue to be, it'd be Kevin Owens, it'd be McIntyre, it would be probably Keith Lee, and honest to God, I can't think of another one. Tag team or no, because Shinsuke they faltered with, and is he even still with the company? Oh, is he? Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. I mean, maybe you could say Shinsuke, but I felt like Shinsuke has never reached the potential that he should have, and he is never, he has stops and starts. Where Kevin Owens has been a bona fide star since he debuted on the roster. That is true. Yeah, and I forgot about the Royal Rumble win. So yeah, you're right. No, but I have seen their match, and all I want to do is see them wrestle again. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try and watch that too. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Um, yeah, I don't know. I might have to get caught up on some NXT. I think NXT after that whole cinematic Pete Dunne looking all distraught as he got beat down kind of turned me on NXT, and I haven't really been into it since. Okay, that could be fun. I don't know either one of those two. Yeah, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen him wrestle. Okay, so that's 4 out of 5. So what's the fifth one? No, no, no. I'm talking about shows because we got, the AEW's got a big show with Kenny and Ray. 4 and 3 nights. Okay. I was gonna say I didn't think there was really anything else. I didn't. Ring of Honor doesn't have a show. Um, I can't get behind. Oh, and for some reason I don't know why, but on Friday night, I flipped on SmackDown. And the reason I kind of brought that up about people coming from, and I'm not saying the Forgotten Sons were anything super special in NXT, especially not without, I can't remember his name now, but their big dog leader. Um, but to see Cutler and Blake without beards on the WWE roster as lackeys to Baron Corbin just disgusts me the same again. Because I don't know what it is about the main roster, but why they can't accept that people can be over as one character. As soon as they turn up on the main roster, they have to be changed. Did I lose you? Shane, did I lose you? Oh, oh, okay. Ah, okay. All right, fair. Wow. Yeah, but why not? I mean, for the life of me, I can't remember that other gun. He used to be Gunner in TNA or in Impact, but I can't remember what they were calling him in NXT. I mean, like I said, they were nothing overly special, but when you look back at all of the call-ups, this is just what happens. I mean, they may not have been overly special, but they had some decent matches. They, had some decent storylines. I still remember that 6 tag team title ladder match that they had. That I felt like was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And they were a big part of that. But it's just they got over in NXT with the Forgotten Sons gimmick and the beards and all that stuff. Why bring them in and completely change it? Makes no sense to me. I mean, mm, well, I saw their performance. They're not trying to be somebody. I mean, I'm trying to. They remind me of right. They remind me of the Edgeheads when the Major Brothers became the Edgeheads. Yeah, but neither one of them really got over after that. And I don't know. It's just one of those. I don't know. I'm not a big. I'm not a big fan of taking something that was working and changing it just for the sake of changing it. Yeah, that's a good point. Me either. And like I said, I wanted to see there was a Keith Lee versus Baron Corbin match that for some reason I wanted to see that, and I tuned in, and that's what was on. And yeah, it was just disappointing, I guess, be the best way to say it. I I can't even explain it. It was just I was sitting here, I saw it, I'm like, hey, that might be a good match, and um, we were we weren't doing anything anyways, so I turned it on and immediately turned it off right afterwards. it was it was bad. It was just bad. Yep, might as well. Right. Well, there's two staples that have become staples of Wrestle Kingdom. One is that battle royal. So you know that's coming. The other one is the six-man tag gauntlets. Really? Because that's happened the last 5 years, last 4 years. Huh. Interesting. Hmm. Yep. That's gonna be amazing. Who's the champion? Okay, then it's Takahashi. Yeah, Takahashi will win it then. Yeah, I would love to see it too, but I just don't see that happening. Not with the way Wrestle Kingdom books. No, and tag team partners versus tag team partners, not at Wrestle Kingdom. I mean, if it happens naturally in like the G1 or the Best of Super Juniors, then yeah, but not as a Wrestle Kingdom match. Maybe. I don't know, but it's Takahashi's going to win that. That's just as long as Ishimori is the junior heavyweight champion, then there's no way that Phantasmo wins it. Wow. You can wow. I okay, right, exactly. It's like last year he was main eventing, or was it 2 years ago he was main eventing, and now wow. I mean, I get it. He's at the tail end of his career, but Omega. I okay. I just I I mean, The only reason I can see this happening is to possibly get over a member of the Empire. Yeah, I mean, otherwise there is no reason for this match to take place, and to have Tanahashi in that low a profile match. When he's still I mean, granted, he's at the tail end of his career. He's at that point to be the guy to put other people over, but this kind of reeks to me of Jericho versus uh who is that disco dancer, Fandango. Yeah, it was like what, 6 years ago or something like that. But I mean, at that time, we all thought that Jericho was at the end of his career, and he's gone on and had, 6 stellar years since then. But yeah, that just makes no sense. Right. Is that any bigger of a letdown than Tanahashi? No, but it's starting to scream to me because January 4th has always been the big Wrestle Kingdom night. It's been the big show, the big feel. Even last year, I felt like night one was more important than night two. Even though, outside of that one match, but overall, I felt like the card was more important on night one than night two. This just is like, it almost feels like they're just trying to fill time right now. Right. But right. I mean, at this point, if we're going to book matches like this, why not just do a one night show again? Everybody would have understood because of current situation. I don't know. It just that just I don't know. Okay, what's the next match? Maybe it'll get better. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Have they had their one-on-one blow off since Osprey turned? Okay, good. No, this will be their fifth because they had 2 straight years where they had that junior heavyweight versus heavyweight match. It was 2 straight years, and both of them were phenomenal matches. Yeah, been a heel and turned on Okada. Remember, that's who he turned on. So there's a lot. That's I I hope it's not. Well, I hope it's as good as the Jay White versus Okada match was 2 years ago. Last year, was it last year or 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Granted that was a short match, but ultimately it was amazing. Unless the Dangerous Techers win this, there's no point for this match either, other than to give Gorilla's Destiny another title run. Yeah, I think they fizzled out, but I still enjoyed their matches against, the Briscoes. Is it last year? Uh, was it okay? And I mean, but you're right. They seem to always be the reset button people, and I, I just don't want to see them champs again. So unless the Techers pull this off, but who's going to out heel who? Oh, and has he grown his beard back? Because there's something really weird about um, Tongaloa not having a beard. Oh my God, Tongaloa cut his hair too. Oh my God, the first time I saw that on NJPW Strong, I never been able to get used to it since. What's the point? What's the point? I don't. Why would they do that? Is he is he defending both belts or just one? Okay, this would have been a good time to take one of those two belts off of him. Because the fact we're now a full year, and he had said he wanted to defend them separately. He'd even do them both on the same show. At some point, they need to split those titles up again. Mm. Even do a triple threat, maybe like Benoit, Angle, and Jericho did when Angle was the I mean, because wasn't Angle like the European champion and the Intercontinental champion? And yep, but it was whoever got the first pin was the European, whoever got the second pin was the Intercontinental. Right, right. And that right. Yeah, that was a great match. But I think they're going to end up having to do something like that because if they're not going to let them defend it on twice on the same night, then um, they're going to have to do something because that those belts need to be split up. It's been a year. Right, right. Yeah, because like you said, they two major titles aren't being defended. I mean, if you think about it that way, because yeah, granted it's for the double gold, but that's one less title match. And then I don't know if they're ever going to bring Moxley back or not, or if they're just going to eventually strip him of the belt. Well, I think they just continue on with NJPW Strong. I think that show's been very good to watch. Okay, when I've watched it, Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, night one has a couple of strong matches, but they ultimately are not. Um, it doesn't sound like an overly great show, and maybe because of those two stinkers in the middle. Right. The only problem is that at least two of those matches, the outcome is pretty much already determined. Like as long as Ishimori's a champion, there's no way that Phantasma wins, and I just can't see them booking White versus Ibushi again when they just had that as the main event of a pay per view. Yeah, but that was a night one challenge. That wasn't the finals challenge. I mean, they had to put him somewhere, and everybody wanted to see White versus Naito. Right. Yeah. But I mean, there's a couple of strong matches. I don't feel like Ibushi should be in that spot. I feel like he lost his title. He should not, or he lost his opportunity. He should have lost his opportunity. No need for them to defend the heavyweight title on both shows, but ultimately, when two of your championships are missing, you kind of have to. Well, not this year when they're putting in two low level filler matches on a Wrestle Kingdom card. Yeah, which is what I felt like they should have always done. But then they started bringing in grudge matches and new title belts, and it just got to be too cluttered. But I think probably my favorite was WrestleMania 10 or Wrestle Kingdom 10 and Wrestle Kingdom 11 because I felt like those were right around the right length, about 3.5 hours. Every match was a classic in the on paper, um, and I wish they would have left that format. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I recognize one of those names, and it's the one you said. But I'm not overly excited about either one of those. Exactly, exactly. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, but you get that out of everywhere. There's always going to be people that have their favorites. Oh, oh, oh. Well, maybe someday we'll have to check it out. Okay, wait a minute. Isn't Toru Yano the champion? Okay, so now he's just no longer the champion and it moves to 2021? What? Okay, but does the championship ever change hands? Okay, then so if somebody beats him for the trophy during the match, they're just going to be the champion for the remainder of the year? But is that even a championship? If you can't defend it past December 31st? Oh, wasn't he like one of the best wrestlers in the world? And I say wasn't he because, dude, you just fell down about 14 notches for even coming up with this idea. I, yeah. Ugh. Oh, that's going to be fun. That is going to be fun. And I can see Cobb winning it because of the new faction. I hope he doesn't because like I said, I mean, Shingo's only really defended against one heavyweight, right? In Minoru. And and he didn't defend it. He lost when he defended, but then he won it back. So, I want Shingo to beat Cobb just because I think he needs to beat some heavyweights. But I don't remember. I don't remember, honestly. Right. Yeah, and you did call this one too. Good. Finally, and hopefully it's an actual grudge match and there's actual emotion in it. Because I didn't like the fact that, the one match on the G1 was just kind of blah. Right, right, right. I, I still miss his old music with the Psy, though, or the Sith, or whatever it's called. I still miss that old music. That was still my favorite. I don't know. It's just anyway. Um, Good. Hopefully, it's an actual match. Hopefully it's a brutal grudge match. I don't want to see this just good wrestling match like with no real hard feelings like we saw. It wasn't the G1. It was New Japan Cup, wasn't it? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping so too. It's another Yeah, this is just another filler match that could have been in a Road 2 show that didn't need to um, be put on the card. It's just looking like it's on the card to make it a two-night thing. Well, considering they haven't been anything since the Bucks left. I Right. I mean, ever since the Bucks left, I mean, Yo and Show are there, but they haven't really been for almost a year now since Yo got injured. And but outside of Roppongi 3K, that there has not been a standard tag team. I mean, I guess they did have Ishimori and Phantasmo for a while. They had the Birds of Prey for a while, but nothing to get excited about. For that comedy title, who the only person that actually fits is Toru Yano. Yeah, but those would all be like hardcore match. The one thing that I've always appreciated about NJPW is they haven't relied on gimmick matches. And this whole thing is a gimmick title. And that's one of the few things like I mean, I've only seen what one ladder match in NJPW history, two, because there was Elgin and Kenny, and then there was one other one, wasn't there? Okay, so maybe Elgin versus Kenny is the only one. I've never really seen a tables match or a ladder match. There's no stupid Hell in a Cell. There's no cage matches. It's just that's one of the things that I've always enjoyed about NJPW, and this just is. I don't know. Do they need it for ratings? Do they need to have Okada with something to do? I don't get it. Or like a four way dance, or something. Yeah, and the only reason I look at four way and triple threats is because they just have no rules. Well, and it's a stupid trophy because the champion doesn't stay the champion until the champion's defeated. Anyway, let's move away from that because I don't want to get on it again. Which their first match was great. This match will be great too. No, I mean, and Takahashi up until he was in the running for my wrestler of the year before the whole thing started. Yeah, I mean it was him and Osprey that were my top two picks, and now that I think about it, I don't even know who I'd give the wrestler of the year to. Probably still Osprey. I mean, even though Osprey was off our TVs for quite a while, he was still solid when he was, and his heel turn, his character change, everything about that has been great. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who else other than that because we did kind of get off our whole Ring of Honor and stuff. We had 3 or 4 wrestlers from Ring of Honor. We had AJ in there. We had some certain people, but I think as far as current, I'll have to think more about it. But I think right now I'd still have to go Osprey. No, yeah, you're right. Kenny did have a great. Okay, yeah, we got to think about this because I mean, Kenny is one of the few that we saw week in and week out. Even during COVID, during all that stuff. Yeah, we got to think about that. We'll do a show about that maybe at some point. So Jay White versus Naito. Do you think they pull the trigger and finally have a Gaijin win? I'm just happy that Jay White is getting the spot I thought he should have had 2 years ago. Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll have Coda interfere and set up their triple threat match for um, New Year's Dash and separate the titles then. Yeah. I mean, are they gonna do New Year's Dash though? Oh, that's right. Because yeah, New Year's Dash will be on Wednesday with the other 3 or 2. Wow, what a week! I didn't get Monday off. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get Tuesday off. So I unfortunately am not gonna be able to watch them live, but I will definitely be watching them during the day. Jesus, you guys aren't even gonna hit the airwaves until like 4 a.m. Wow. Yeah, I kind of wish I'd gotten that off, but I'm too old to stay up that late now. All right, well, filibuster for a couple seconds then, if we're gonna talk about that. No, I just have to go to the bathroom. That's all. So filibuster. I should be able to talk about it on whenever we do our next show. If we're gonna do it Wednesday or not, I don't know. You kind of made a point when we do the live shows. We're not really talking wrestling. We're talking about what's on the show. So it's not. It 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 was a good concept when we did the Dynamite After Dark, but I think as far as us doing what we do, it doesn't make as much sense. I don't know. We have to talk more about it, but I'm kind of enjoying the Sunday morning thing when I can actually remember it. Yeah, I don't understand what the point of that is, though. I mean, is it just because of their new show that they're having, and he's like, is he the host of that show or something? Or his appearance doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I enjoyed Snoop Dogg in 1991 or 94 or whatever, but yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't get his appearance. His appearance doesn't make sense to me. Or even if they're going to do somebody a celebrity, how about make it more than a one-off appearance that doesn't lead anywhere? Like, I mean, we had the whole Brandy versus whatever Shaq's friend's name was, but then she got pregnant. They had to derail that. The Mike Tyson Jericho thing went nowhere. I mean, the Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, that was just a one-off for the debut episode, but that also went nowhere. Unless these celebrity appearances are going to actually lead to something, there's no point in having them. I mean, I got the Mike Tyson one. He was training for a fight and everything. Right. Yeah. I mean, it was a stupid comeback for a guy that hadn't boxed in what, 15 years, 20 years, something like that. And well, it was 98, so it was, a long damn time. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I don't know. And then the Shaq thing, I don't know if that got derailed because of Brandy's pregnancy or what, but we just need a payoff if we're going to put celebrities on there. Yeah, true. Yeah, isn't that like the main event or something? No, Phoenix and Pentagon is. Omega, yeah. I don't even know if I would have cared then. I mean, I think the last time I felt like Seidel was relevant. Well, I did like his run in uh, Impact, mainly because he gave us a dude from the North, Josh. Uh, um, how, yeah, no, not Josh Alexander, the other guy, Ethan Page. Yeah, Mr. Arrogance himself. Right. So, but and I kind of enjoyed that third eye gimmick, but ultimately I can't. I think the last time I ever even cared about Matt Sydal was when he was with Ricochet. Yeah, no matter how much they talk about him being a great wrestler and everything, that's all I can think of when I see him. Like, I and they I mean, and they push him every time he's on screen. They push him like he's one of the greatest that's ever wrestled, and but all I can see is him slipping. Mhm. Y Yeah, which doesn't make any sense either because SCU hasn't really been a thing in a while. Um, this will be the first time we get to see the Acclaimed on actual TV, isn't it? In a match? Oh, did they? Shows you how unimportant that match ended up being. Okay, yeah, that's right. And I'm not a fan of that whole rapping gimmick that the Acclaim's trying to do. Yeah. Yeah, true. That's true. Which means that he won't be at Wrestle Kingdom, which now we know he will not, absolutely not be defending his title again. Hmm. So I mean, and we're hitting that 6 month mark since they started wrestling again. So he's going to be stripped of it again, of not taking the belt. Right, exactly. For the number one contender. I still am confused why they put the belt back on him the second time to begin with. When they stripped him of it the first time, well, the MRSA injury too, is the typhoon. He couldn't get there, and then he had that MRSA infection. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I was gonna say, and he hasn't had a title defense scheduled, so right. So it's been 6 months. Right. That one confuses me. I mean, I know that they've got their boyhood angst they got to get out, but I I I don't understand the whole Wardlow versus, because their fight's not against Wardlow. I mean, even Santana came out and said, or was it Ortiz? One of them did, that Wardlow, you just stay being Wardlow. We hate him, not you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. That makes some kind of sense in a weird way. Oh, will be. Two hosses going out there and beating the hell out of each other. I'm looking for, yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of there with you. It's like I'm excited to see Sheeta, but I don't know what to think about Abaddon. I'm not sure that I really like Abaddon, but then again, I haven't seen enough of Abaddon to really make a determination on whether I like her or not. Did she beat? Yeah, maybe. I know it was earlier this year, but I can't see her losing to Abaddon. So she's been well, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, we're 2 days into this year, so um, but I I can't see her losing to Abaddon. Anna Jay had two good matches with her, but I'm just saying, with Anna Jay having two good matches with her, maybe a third one's a charm. They're really starting to push Anna Jay, or maybe a returning Chris Nylander. Oh Jesus. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, I hope not. And the reason I hope not is because I just don't know enough about Abaddon to know if I want that to happen. Have we seen Abaddon in the ring with anybody except the only one I can remember is her match against Anna Jay? Okay. Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, it is for the is this for the AEW or the AAA? Triple A. Let's find out. Jeff Jarrett currently has the shortest reign at 83 days. That's not what I wanted to see. The Triple A. Yeah, for the shortest reign in history of 83 days. 83 days? That's 2 months, dude. One, right, right. Yeah, one day. Something like that. Yeah, Kenny Omega is still the champion. 442 days. Daga has held the Latin American champion. Yeah, that's what he has for 442 plus days. Laredo Kid has the cruiserweight championship. He's had it 687 days. Holy crap! They don't give up their belts very often. The Lucha Brothers are still the tag team champions. They've had it 567 days. Taya Velke is the Reina de Reinas champion. She's had it 476 days. Beat Tessa Blanchard for it. Wow. I mean, they do not give up their belts very often. October 19th, 2019 is when Omega won it. I'm glad she didn't. You know what the worst part of you know what the worst part about Jeff Jarrett's reign? It happened in 2011. He appeared on TNA with the belt. I don't either, but he referred to it as the Mexican Championship. Johnny Mundo, Johnny Mundo held it for 313 days, and then Jarrett held it again in 2018. Right? But at least Jarrett lost it to Phoenix. G- yeah, yeah, probably. And then then Phoenix won it from him, held it 420 days, and Omega won it from Phoenix and has held it ever since. Jesus, Omega's had 4 title defenses. Yeah, and looking at these title defenses here, this one, a guy held it for 182 days, had 2 defenses. This one, 195 days, 1 defense. So they don't they don't defend it very often. Right. El Texano held it 2 times for a combined total of 1,096 days. Kenny Omega's in 4th place on that list. There's only been 11 champions since the belt debuted. Well, I remember him when he showed up on MLW and we were laughing about him. No, but I'm just weirded out about the fact that they've hold the belts this long. Just kind of, yeah. I mean, you don't see that anymore. I mean, you normally see like if someone's a champion for a couple of months. That's why Jericho's reign was so impressive, and even Moxley's, because you don't see that in professional wrestling these days. It's a couple of months and they change champions. Yeah, and I didn't even it didn't dawn on me. I was just like 2 months, and but you're right. I mean, how many 1-day champions do we have? I mean, Kane only held the belt, and that's weird, but he's only held the WWE title 1 time for 1 day. He held the big gold belt. Yeah, because he lost the WWE title within 3 hours. And yeah, like a couple of minutes, I thought he held that one. Anyway, all right. Well, yeah, I got nothing else. So right, but guys, do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Kingdom of Honor. You get access to all our archives and everything that we've done since day one, including some exclusive stuff. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you can find out whenever it is we are live, because we don't even know.